And then last one, we're gonna wrap up the show. Wrestling one. Favorite Edge moment. I'm gonna go first. Him and Lita in the ring.
Oh,
I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all
God
know
damn
what
it,
incident.
it's
Y'all
freaky.
know what I'm referring to. I won't go any further because the kids are watching, and I don't want them to be disturbed. But Lita and Edge out in that ring, and then John Cena had to intervene and stop all of that. So y'all know what I'm referring to.
Well,
Whoever wants to go.
uh, for me, Edge is one of the greatest of all time. Top 10 WWE superstar ever, in my opinion. But it's that one promo. That one promo they had on John Cena that a lot of adults during that time had the feelings about John Cena. I hate your hat. I hate your sneakers. I hate your shoes. I hate everything about you. That's just epitomized like every wrestler or wrestling fan over the age of 15. And the second one is his return at the Rumble. That one was, it was
Good.
so.
Yeah.
That was mine, bro. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie.
but
BRF.
Mm. I mean, come on, man. It's Edge, man. One of the greatest interesting music songs in the history of the business. Like with Metalingus Alter Bridge. I mean that song will forever slap for one. Um,
Clear.
oh my gosh.
it's like
If I had to pick,
arguably the best song.
if I have to, it's arguably it is. It's arguably the best interest song of all time. It's right there. Um, gosh, you get. I mean, you got a spear at WrestleMania 17. You got
Don't forget
good
Mick
lord, you got
Foley.
that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got the hardcore match WrestleMania 22, the Hell in a Cell match SummerSlam '08 with the Undertaker. Um, honestly, I, okay, I'm gonna pick two. My favorite one is definitely the Royal Rumble return 2020
Yep.
because out 9 years, thinking you're never gonna wrestle again, and then you come back, and then you're just it's like you hadn't lost a step. I mean, he was still doing it, but I'm gonna throw one out there that a lot of people might not necessarily put up there, but they really should. His AEW debut.
Hmm.
The
Uh,
I I put his because let's hear me out because Edge's WWE was always WWE, and it's like it's the shock factor of seeing him in another company besides WWE. The best thing about the AEW debut was that Metalingus is not a WWE licensed song. Alter Bridge owns the song, so he could take it with him. And I think that's what made that moment so cool was the fact that he took that song with him. I think that's what makes that moment so great. So I think his AEW debut should be talked about more as far as like greatest moments in his career. But for me, it's definitely the Royal Rumble 2020 return. Like when the music hit, the pop he got, the emotion running through his face. I mean, you could just see it in his face, like he couldn't believe he was there. Like he had that one split moment of time where it's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm here. And then he kind of shook it off, and he knew it was time to get the business and the pyro, and he got to the final three of the match. I mean, just for me, it's easily the Royal Rumble 2020 return.
Brandon.
Yeah, it's definitely the Rumble for me. Um, I do think though, like him returning, one of the best returns of all time. So it's simple as that. But yeah, it's definitely the Rumble. But I hate it though, him cashing in. I ain't gonna lie, I hate it when he cashing in. I think it was Cena.
Yeah, it was seen.
Yeah, Cena my
05.
goat, so yeah,
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah. Well, he
Austin,
did it to Cena. He did it to Cena and the Undertaker.
Yeah, definitely.
Austin could never. Crazy. But anyway, go ahead.
Bruh.
Saving the best for last. Undisputed world champ.
I would say, look, the best. I got two tables, ladders, and chairs. The first ever, because without Edge, that just they look. Let's just keep it all the way 100. For a long time, the WWE was kind of putting the tag team straps on pretty much anybody until those three teams came along. You really seen those as like bridge championships, to the point where we saw the late great Yokozuna and Owen Hart, being a tag team. We saw a lot of guys that would just put the straps on them just to kind of keep them in the eye. But when that match happened, that pretty much put the tag team division back on the map with the first ever tables, ladders, and chairs. TLC 1 and 2 was off the chain. That was good. Number 2, I gotta say, him breaking into John Cena's house and
Oh boy.
when he broke into John Cena's house, that was a hoot within itself. Not to mention him beating John Cena in Massachusetts, with the brass knuckles, and of course JR has some pretty colorful language at the end of that match in order to describe that. Colorful, I will always say. Last but not least, I will say that heel run and that feud between him and Matt Hardy, yeah, that was nasty work right there. That was the beginning of him being one of the greatest heels of all time. That was the beginning of him being one of the greatest heels of all time. And the funny thing about that is it was real life. It was real life. And for something that personal to come out to being one of the greatest feuds of all time, and it be culminated in a loser leaves town match that ironically ends in a ladder match that you helped revolutionize with one of your good friends. Well, what used to be one of your good friends is amazing. So that whole Matt Hardy and Edge feud, that was one of his greatest moments, because that, in my humble opinion, Edge was already a great superstar at that point, but that just put him over the top. It's just like, we finna see a world championship reign soon. And lo and behold, shortly after that feud was over, we saw him cashing in with John Cena, and we saw, that one feud paved the way for a lot of things. I think that paved the way for him to cash that Money in the Bank in. I think that paved the way for him having that triple threat match between him, John Cena, and RVD. I think that set the tone for a lot of things. That whole 05, 06 year, I think after that Matt Hardy feud, that put him over the top, especially him being a heel. You all right, bro?
Yeah, I just sneezed. Sorry.
Okay.
And if I can like piggyback off of what he said real quick, the greatest and the craziest thing now, when you think about the Edge Matt Hardy feud, is not only are they better friends now than they were then, but if you've seen their wives currently, you will know they are just fine. You will know they're just fine, because Matt Hardy has Rebby Hardy, who's a very good looking woman in her own right, and say what you want, Beth Phoenix is fine as hell. That's all I'm gonna say. So
Also, let's not forget Edge, Randy Orton. How they were like teammates at one point too. Let's not
rated RKO.
Yes.
Oh, no. You know what? Shout out Edge for creating one of the greatest chants of all time. You suck.
Oh man, Edge was special, man. Edge was